How does all this stuff work? Exercise is very specific. I think I was talking to Dr. Iozzi about this. The way that we look at exercise today would be the same as if I went over to one of the physician's office over here, opened up the medicine cabinet and went, okay, I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take this. Very dangerous, right? Exercise is specific. If you do a certain thing, you will get a certain outcome. The training effect occurs based upon what you do. So a lot of the literature that you see out there, and a lot of the exercise shows that you see out there, it's cardiovascular-based exercise, which is great for your heart, but it does nothing for your metabolic issues. And so you have to increase your intensity, basically, when you exercise and do different things. For example, if somebody has high blood pressure, though, you don't want to do a lot of resistance training because you're going to put more pressure on their heart because of the Valsalva maneuver, which is every time that you're lifting. But somebody that has diabetes, it's a blood sugar issue. 80% of your blood sugar is stored in your muscle. So whenever you start using your muscles through resistance training, it takes a certain threshold. Walking on a treadmill, you always see this 20 minutes on the elliptical at level 1 isn't getting it done. And you see, people work out here, go to the gym. Yeah. You see these people that spend all this time on the elliptical. 3 years later, they're going, I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on. This exercise stuff, it doesn't work. And the problem is, and you probably see this all the time, patients come in, I'm sorry I keep referring to you, but patients come in and they're taking the wrong medication, right? That happens, and you have to change up the prescription. Well, it's the same thing for this exercise. We have specific prescriptions for exercise that get the job done, where if you go and try to do it on your own, or you go to a personal trainer, they don't understand this level of physiology that goes on with exercise and insulin resistance and all these things. Some of them may. The better ones will, but for the most part, that's not the case. Okay. So for somebody that has diabetes, they should be doing more resistance training, which is going to help their muscles take in more blood sugar after it's used. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. One of the major tricks to it all is decreasing or switching the gait over to the insulin sensitivity towards the muscles. Okay? So all these problems that we have, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, a lot of them can be stemmed back to high insulin levels. And how do you get high insulin levels? Sugar, that's what everybody thinks. I'm going to talk to you guys about that. Actually, if you want to flip over to that chart that I have right there. How many heard of the glycemic index? How many have heard of the insulin index? Brand new thing in the last couple of years, at least from my knowledge. The insulin index shows that foods that you eat that don't necessarily spike your insulin or spike your blood sugar, which is the glycemic index, will actually spike your insulin. And insulin is the main problem that we're trying to fight against, not blood sugar. Blood sugar does play a major role in it, don't get me wrong. So a lot of them are correlated, but a lot of foods, especially dairy foods that don't necessarily spike your insulin, or spike your blood sugar, excuse me, will spike your insulin. That's a thing that's not commonly known. A lot of these diets, that's one of the reasons some of these diets are failing, because they don't focus on this part enough. The other part is glycemic load, which is up here, which means that if you have a food that is, we'll say the scale is 0 to 100. If you have a food that is low, that's a 5, and you eat 10 times the amount of it, versus if you eat a food that is a 90 and you only eat one portion of it, you're going to get similar responses because you overate so much of that small food. That's what glycemic load is. Does that make sense? So the main point of that is you can't overeat just because the food is low and spiking your blood sugar. The more of it that you eat, the more of your blood sugar is going to spike, and the more that your insulin is going to spike. Okay. One of the main issues with exercise is post-exercise nutrition. How many people here eat after they exercise? I know a lot of people, and I made this mistake big time because I would work out so hard that I was so tired that all I wanted to do was go lay down. So I would go lay down. You ever do that? Go lay down and relax, and 2-3 hours go by, now I'm starving, and I go to eat. Well, what happens? You know the answer because I told you? Yeah. So, basically, you become more insulin sensitive during exercise because your muscles are using glycogen, they're breaking glycogen down, using sugar, so by the end you don't have as much blood sugar. So your body says, or as much muscle sugar, so your body says, let's pull more blood sugar into the muscles. It partitions the gate over, so you start becoming more insulin sensitive to the muscles. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. If you eat something within the first hour after exercising, you maintain your insulin sensitivity for up to 6 to 8 hours afterwards. And this is where the bodybuilding nutrition comes in. This is what bodybuilders do. So they keep themselves in an insulin sensitive state and continue to spike their insulin after they work out so they can get more of all the stuff that they're putting in, even the steroids, into their muscles. Okay? And so, but the same thing goes for us, but it's the opposite. If we decide not to eat within an hour, you actually flip it and you become more insulin resistant to your muscles afterwards because your body starts to go into survival mode because you just worked out and you're all depleted. And your body's starting to think, oh my gosh, we have to survive here. We don't have enough energy inside of us. So it starts converting everything to stored fat. So when you go to eat 3 hours later, the gate is over here. And it's putting everything into your fat. Okay? So when you eat, you're sure to spike your insulin. And when you exercise, you're sure to be more insulin sensitive afterwards. So you have to make sure that you're following these rules when you're exercising. This is a little word to the wise of some mistakes that people make after they exercise. And with exercise and nutrition program. Because if you're doing the right thing, it works.